All right, let me know when we're ready to go. Cool. What is up, y'all? This is INXS episode 4 on Yerba FM. I'm AGROPOL or Noah. Today we got an awesome guest, Skyler vander molen, who's going to come and join me in just a little bit. But I'm going to start the show off, which is some nice tunes, some things I've been listening to recently. I'm really excited to be back. You know, second Saturday's here, so let's get into it.
You know who it be. Back in your eardrum, get you some. That one guy named Funky. Don't take it back to Funky Knuckles. That one guy named Funky.
Check. All right, I think I should be coming in pretty good right now. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. All right, 1 2. Abraham, you hearing me over there? You? All right. You want to talk to your mic real quick, brother?
Check.
There we go.
Check.
Okay, give you a little bit more.
Check.
Check. All right. What up, bro?
What's up,
Skyler?
man?
Good to have you
see
on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah, of course, dude. Yeah, welcome to INXS. This is my fourth episode here at Yerba FM. Been doing it for the past 4 months, and it's been a little interesting. You know, I've successfully had a few different artists on here and had some pretty good interviews, and honestly, very grateful to have this space to do these kind of shows to highlight techno in San Francisco, highlight friends of mine, people who I think deserve more of a spotlight, like yourself, and people who are active in a lot of different ways and just what people might necessarily expect or what they see on social media. So yeah, Skyler, Vander, Molen, appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, SVM. Come on now. Yeah, dude. Thanks again for being on the show. Just adjusting the levels real quick, but to start off, tell me a little bit about your interest in techno. How did it start? How did it blossom?
Yeah.
Some of your early influences, some people that influence you now, and
sure.
Yeah, just something like that.
I mean, dance music was something I never really had a ton of exposure to. When I was a kid, I remember hearing Sandstorm for the first time and being like, what the fuck is this? And was really into trance for a bit, but could not really branch out beyond that one song. There was only a handful of things.
Okay.
So it was one of those things that I just never really connected to. And for me, hip hop and rap, punk and hardcore were more what my early music love was. And probably through 3-4 years ago, one of my friends from LA got really into techno and DJing with vinyl especially. And
Sweet.
Every time I would hang out with him, that was all he was talking about. And I remember kind of rolling my eyes about it a little bit and just being he was fucking talking about techno again.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably a year after some of those early conversations, went to one of his shows on the LA River at 3 a.m.
Oh, so you just full renegade style.
Yeah, and I had never been to anything like that. I had no clue that it even existed, and just really fucking fell in love with it. And I think a week later, went and bought a DJJ 400 and started learning how to DJ.
Right away, just jumped into it.
Yeah,
it's such that initial feeling is such a rush.
Yeah.
When I was first getting into it, it was over at Lower Grand Radio, and just the first time being in front of CDJs and not knowing how to format a USB, not knowing how to use any of the gear, and just seeing people finesse it in such creative ways is can really light a fire underneath you, and especially having friends that are really into it, it's huge.
Totally.
You know?
And they're incredible. I grew up playing music, but I never really thought about DJing as sort of an extension of an instrument in and of itself.
Yeah.
And I think you see more of that with vinyl especially, but just the way that those guys were DJing and that whole experience, being at the LA River, being so late, all these people, the fact that all of these, I think the crew of people that put that show on was 15 different people who all contributed gear and helped set up and break down. And
that's great to hear.
I just love that spirit. So
I think being at a Renegade is definitely one of the more pure ways to experience music.
I agree.
I've said it before on this show, and I say in conversations with friends, it really is about the community of people you're around. You can have great DJs, but as long as you have great ravers, people who like dancing, people who are enjoying being in a space, people who being in a creative space and a free space, and people who are looking out for one another, you hear all these things in words, you're oh, that sounds cool. I guess that's what it sounds like, drugs and stuff. And it really is more than that. Being around a bunch of people that make you feel this way, dancing, moving the whole night. It's early in the morning. It's very freeing.
For sure.
Energizing at the same time, sure, partake in whatever drugs that you want to partake in. But I think just, the illegal factor of throwing renegades is a big one too.
Yeah.
You said you're into punk and hardcore. There's a lot of these things that share the same ethos.
Yeah.
That's which I think kind of probably drew me towards this stuff to begin with.
Yeah.
I had a lot of friends.
Pretty common. I feel everyone I talk to, it's some version of that was their way in.
Yeah, I feel you do have a mentality if you're somebody that's throwing raves. It's very anti-establishment and against the status quo to organized like that too, you know.
And like take back space. I think especially in San Francisco, but LA and a lot of bigger cities, like there's just not a lot of space to gather or get together.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of what's so cool about this space too, is like
Yeah.
there's very few places where you can just be. You're not expected to spend a bunch of money. You can just hang out with your friends and have a good time. And like you said too, like I think what was interesting to me about that experience especially, and I feel it less in clubs, and I think that experience was pretty rare. So it kind of set my expectations in a place that it's a little bit hard to like recapture that spirit, but was just like, it was kind of lawless, but everybody was looking out for each other. And like that community spirit, I think, is like the thing that makes me like feel really passionate and excited about this.
And then there's this whole like deep dive into the history of what like that scene is and like how much history there is behind it, and the impact of that stuff, the impact of a lot of things that we know in mainstream, like that a lot of people would know in mainstream culture, like starts and has roots in a lot of electronic dance music history, club culture. So like even having an amazing experience and being able to have a fire be lit in you, and then also take that into a point of like becoming more educated, learning about something. It's like getting a new instrument. It's like getting your first guitar, or you playing piano or something like that. You're like, I want to learn everything about this. I want to be like fully engaged with what I'm doing right now. And
I feel that really strongly. I mean, I don't really understand people who don't have that curiosity, because it was like, that was one of the first things I wanted to know, is like, where the fuck did this start? Who was the first? Like, where did it come from? Why? Like, all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's similar to like when you're dating someone new or you meet a new friend, it's like you want to know everything you can about it. And I think part of the value in that is like you start to understand like why things are the way they are now, stuff people were trying and experimenting with in the past, like what you can maybe bring to your shit now. And I find that really inspiring.
Okay, so when you started DJing, what were you DJing? Because when I started, I was like, I didn't really know different genres of music and electronic music. At the time, I was really into like dark wave, like EBM sort of stuff. And I had a project with a friend of mine, and it was like a bunch of gear on like a fold-out table, and we were just going crazy with it. So we would DJ like dark wave stuff that was like kind of techno-y at the same time, and had different like synth pop elements in it as well. But then, you know, things started to like grow. What was your intro into, I guess, DJing? Because once you pick a controller up, it's a different game, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like some of the stuff that the friend that I was talking about was playing was like the more of the early Detroit style stuff, like Jeff Mills and like Underground Resistance and Octave One and all that stuff. And like I love all of that shit, but I knew like a handful of those songs and didn't really know how to even dig for that. Like you're saying, it's like most of my like knowledge of dance music was like so limited. It was like kind of all lumped into one category. And so like a lot of what my early kind of exploration was more housey stuff. And I would make a lot of playlists, and a lot of what I was listening to was like soul and hip hop. And so I was like trying to mix that with house, and it was really fucking hard. And sometimes it worked, and sometimes it didn't.
There, you know.
So yeah, it was more house leaning, and then I started playing faster stuff and like getting into more of kind of what my friend was into, and like that was kind of, I played enough like house sets that it's like I like that music, but it just like it's not moving me. My energy's not like in the place I want it to be when I DJ. And so like I just kept getting a little bit faster, still incorporating some of the groove and like soul that I like about house. But techno is a thing that I just like. I feel like it generates a lot of energy for me, and I can connect to it more than other styles.
I feel like that journey of once you first start DJing, and then you're getting into like, you start learning about different genres, and you're learning just about like what you like more is also like part of that fun too.
Yeah, totally.
So like I was saying, it started with like dark wave, like EBM stuff, and then it went over to like lo-fi house, because this was like 2017, 2018,
really
and like
that
Park Hygiene, like Shall Not Fade label, like all this stuff. Like I was like, oh, this is cool. And I had my good friend of mine who showed me a lot of this music. Like that's the stuff he was DJing. I went on tour with my brother, and he was DJing for him. And he played an opening set and played a lot of this stuff. I'm like, oh, it's sick. Like, what is this? Like I've never heard this before.
Totally.
So like that was my go, and then I went straight into jungle after that. And
oh wow, nice.
It was like it was such a crazy like turnaround. You
0 to 100.
Yeah. But that's when I like entered like the renegade sphere. Like
that's cool.
Getting into like different spaces that were like playing like 180, 200 BPM at some points, and you know, then bring it back down to like 100.
I'm still learning about the history of like the scene here, but it seemed like that was really big here in like the last kind of
Hardcore.
Boom. Yeah.
Dude.
I want to learn more about that. I'm really fascinated about it.
I've got 2 coworkers, probably in like their late 40s now, and sometimes when we close the bar together, they'll put on, like, I remember the first time they put on Ronnie Size Brown Paper Bag, and I was like, holy shit. I looked at them, they're like, this is my shit. I used to go to raves here, and here. One of them was like a Miami, like, bass head, so they were out in Miami, or I guess sick. Florida, going to, like, raves and stuff out there, and when they moved to California, they're like, I want hardcore music, and, you know, Oakland had it. Like, there was a lot of cool DJs out here and crews out here that were doing a bunch of stuff, so. Yeah. I mean, the records that they have, my manager used to be a raver too and a DJ. Yeah. And he just randomly got rid of his like vinyl collection like 6 months before I started working there, and I was like, dude,
that sucks.
He was like, it was just taking up too much space. But yeah, man, like getting into techno and finding this place, I think we can talk about like where techno is at here in San Francisco, and you know, which is generally like the premise of this show, but yeah, I just want to know what your opinion is on techno here, on parties here, and club culture in San Francisco.
I mean, I'm still new to it, so it's like I want to try to not talk shit about like all the work that people have put in, because I know that like this is a hard place to do this stuff. Like I've thrown a couple of shows, and it's like I fucking lost money like pretty much every time, and so like I know that. I think what I love about this place is it feels like people really care, and like for work I'm a filmmaker and an art director, and it has kind of the same vibe in the film community. Like people are like generally really tight with each other. Like even if you're in different crews or groups or whatever, like I feel like it's a really supportive place to be. But it feels like it's like
also competitive at the same time.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. I think it's like if you want to, I think you can try to just kind of move beyond that stuff and not get caught up in it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just feel like I wish that there was more opportunity here, because it's like
I agree.
I think there's an appetite for it, but a lot of the infrastructure that exists and kind of the way that deals with clubs and bars work, like as the promoter, especially if you're like trying to DJ and promote and do all this stuff, like you kind of get fucked.
Oh yeah, when you're the one person like handling it all, which you know, we've both been in those positions. It's really does not cater to you. Like there are multiple sacrifices you have to take. Like TT, who organized Couch de Groove last weekend. Yeah, something happened with the time limit at the bar. Yeah, found out the day before. Yeah, and he cut his own set, and that's just, you know, part of being an organizer, a promoter, and also a DJ too. It's like you cut yourself for the sake of a party, and I really respect him for doing that, because I feel like some people wouldn't. Yeah, which I understand too, but you know, like it is tough. You know, I think when I think of techno out here, what I've been learning recently about some labels, going over to Vinyl Dreams on Haight.
Dude, I love that place.
Mike B.
Mike's so awesome.
Yeah, Mike's dope. Shout out to Vinyl Dreams in Lower Haight.
Every time I buy something, it's like doesn't matter what it is, he's got a story about it. Like literally every record.
We need people like that who are, you know, generally considered archivists. Yeah. I respect them. Those are the people that we need, like, moving forward. I think of 2 other people. Cherub Dream Records. JB is somebody who archives so many shows out here, flyers, throws a lot of events, puts out people's music. I was telling them, I was like, you're the kind of person in like 25, 30 years that's going to be pulling out a binder of things. Yeah. And be like, this is what the scene looked like during COVID.
That's really important.
In San Francisco.
I love that shit.
Yeah. So shout out Mike B. But every time I'm in there, I'm like, I don't go all the time. I was going a little bit more frequently when one of my friends, Renee, he plays there. He'll do like a Saturday day takeover. And I'll just shop it up with him. I'll look through records, and then he'll just drop knowledge on like, oh yeah, are these guys still out here? And you'll look at his buddy that he runs the store with, and he's like, no, I don't think they're around anymore. And just like so many labels that used to be out here that were putting out. There was a lot of acid coming out of San Francisco and Oakland. Yeah,
like acid and jungle, and like
which
I don't know
sick.
if techno was ever as big here.
Yeah,
like I mean, I think the biggest thing seems like, coming out of COVID, like everybody's got an appetite for some of this stuff. I just wish that there was more opportunities to play it, and like venues,
absolutely,
like where you can put on your own shows and have like a decent deal, and like, so I don't know. Those are the things that I think is hard. Like I think people are into it, and there's a desire for it, but the city and the realities of money and space and all that make it really challenging here. LA, I think, has like the free party stuff feels a little easier, because like there's all of these like weird little corners of LA under overpasses and stuff that it's easier to do free parties.
LA is massive too, you know.
Exactly.
Like they got the space for it.
It feels a little harder here.
I think environment does play a really big factor
Yeah.
in determining like what kind of party you can throw, and being a DJ and like what you can play at a certain party. Like you can be booked at a few different sort of things. And the show that I played last week was like probably my first solo gig where I was like, I didn't have to think twice about what establishment I was in and what kind of music I was playing and the kind of people in front of me. I mean, granted, it is somewhat your job as a DJ to keep those things in mind.
Yeah, for sure.
But it felt really good to like finally be in a space where I could do that. And it was very, you know, BSOP Baobab off like 18th and Mission.
Yeah.
Bar turned venue at night sort of deal. And you never expect that out of places because you can go to F8 and play a great set.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I do a monthly over at Madrone and I don't play the same kind of music.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
you know, it's the party's just way different too.
For sure, yeah.
But I think people have an appetite for it. I think you're right with that. I think there's plenty of space and plenty of room for people out here to do their stuff, to throw shows.
Yeah.
I always encourage people and like I always want to help people out when they throw shows, which is kind of like how you and I started talking.
Exactly.
Helping people, enabling people, helping to enable people, with gear, with an extra hand, with I don't know, talking to somebody who's thrown stuff. Like, how does this work? How do you pay people out? Like,
totally.
There's a whole lot of caveats with like being a promoter, being a DJ, and wanting to expand yourself or what you want to do. And I think there's room for everybody out here by far. I mean, there's room for everybody in LA, and it's huge. Like San Francisco's smaller. I think everyone is a lot more friendlier than we think.
Yeah.
And everyone's willing to shake a hand and like talk to you, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, I think part of what I'm seeing with like some of the different DJ groups and stuff, it's like, I just think that the more opportunities there are, the more shows that happen, the more people that are doing this stuff, like the bigger the scene gets. Like, this is still like, I mean, it's not the biggest city, but it's still like over 1 million people minimum, like in the Bay Area. Like, so I think that like the more that people are investing in developing like ways to make it more sustainable for people, like the better it will be long term. Because kind of what I was saying earlier, like the larger point I guess I'm trying to make is that like there's not a whole lot of support or infrastructure for the like person who's just starting to DJ to like get to like mid-career level. It's like that whole journey feels like it's kind of on you to like somehow figure out work and all this other stuff and make no money at any of this and somehow keep buying all this expensive gear and
keep
like
puddling money into like
do
these
parties
projects,
and lose money on it. And like I think once you get past like the mid to higher level place where you're like getting good gigs abroad and you're traveling and stuff, then like you can play like the bigger clubs and like it's fine, but it's like there's not a whole lot of support for that growth trajectory, it feels like.
It is tough. I mean, starting out here, like I've only been DJing here for like 4 years, and maybe this year was like the first year where I had like a few shows.
Yeah.
You know, like a handful of shows that's besides like the monthly that I do with like my friends at the bar that I work at. And, you know, it does take a while. And like I was saying, you really do need people that you can rely on and talk to. And
even just to talk to. Like
like, hey, can I pick your brain about a party?
Yeah.
I think people are now very interested in it because there has been growth and there has been an increased interest. In like club culture and like parties and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
That everyone can really, you know, help somebody new out.
Yeah.
It's hard to, you're right, get started in this stuff, but it's worth it. I feel like, you know, you need to like, what's the expression? Like, you need to get your hands dirty first. Like, you need to be around people. You need to be around certain parties. You need to be around, like, I feel like you just need to be well-rounded.
Yeah,
when you're entering the space, you know, like, eager to learn and talk to people.
Yeah.
How does this sort of filter or how does this funnel into From Below, which is you want to tell them what From Below is?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, I basically started a business to like make music videos under, and so I was like making music videos for my friends, and then when I got into DJing, wanted to like start hosting parties and stuff, and so I used the same infrastructure and name to throw one of our first parties. We had one morning and Bloodhound come up from LA and do a back-to-back set.
That shit was crazy.
Amal played at, I think you were there, right?
I was at that show,
Vertigo, like a bunch of other like really great Bay Area DJs.
Yeah, Tom Marcy,
This No Girl, DJ
Caro.
I'm trying to I feel like and DJ fucking Warning like closed the night, which is one of the best sets of his I've seen. So that was like one of the first parties I did, and I felt like I had so much energy and momentum and wanted to just keep doing it. And then I lost a bunch of money on that show and like didn't.
This is post-COVID, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it was like, all right, I got to figure out a smarter way to do this. And so I've done like less stuff. I did a thing with Hyde FM and Vitamin 1K at Vinyl Dreams like last year, like a sidewalk party
I
kind
remember
of thing,
that.
which is super fun.
Lord played, right? And
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And Richard. And so like I've been doing little things here and there, but I've not really like fully doubled down on it. And like coming into this next year, that's my plan basically. Like I want to do a lot more events and shows, but I think like I've spent the last year really diving deep into production.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And so like that's kind of more where my focus and energy is like making my own music. And so From Below is kind of like shifting gears into like focusing more on music
production.
Yeah, like basically as a label that throws events too.
Dude. Sick.
So yeah.
Let's talk about that. Absolutely. Yeah. I want to learn more about the music that you're making. You've sent me some tracks.
Yeah.
What's that app called that you sent it to?
Untitled.
Untitled. Yeah. I was like, what is this platform?
It's so good.
It's
I
dope.
Love it.
It's just like, it's kind of like Dropbox. It's kind of like
dry,
but it's like more curated towards like tracks, right?
Like the thing I like about it is like I know if you produce, you probably have like a folder full of shit you've like bounced out of Ableton or whatever, and like it just sits there. It's hard to like kind of turn it into something. And like part of what I love about that app is you can just drop a couple tracks and it's like, okay, now I got an EP or an album or something.
It looks really nice.
It looks like a real one.
Yeah,
like,
it looks
you can
sick.
share it with people and stuff.
Tell me about your production journey. You said you had started with other kinds of music, playing other kinds of music,
totally.
Right? What were you playing beforehand?
Mostly hip hop. Like I grew up playing saxophone, piano, guitar, and stopped around the time I started going to college. So I was, like played music for like 10 years and then just like dropped it and like got more into design and film and all this stuff. And like 2014, I picked up, I think it was Machine, and was like, I'm going to make beats. And just started trying to make rap beats, and they were really bad, and I didn't think it was all that good, and I kind of just dabbled for like a while.
What style of rap were you trying to make? Like boom bap stuff?
I honestly
like
don't know. That was more the stuff that I loved and was like trying to figure out how to get that sound. So it was like mostly sample based and like kind of that same like drum style. And I mean, I made a few things I like, but I just was like, I don't know, this isn't really doing it for me.
Yeah, I feel you.
And then when I started DJing, was like, maybe I should like pick this back up again. And something just clicked. I think there was like the way that I was DJing, I feel like I was listening to music differently and like starting to understand song structure in a way I didn't really before, which then made producing easier. It was like the technical stuff I had spent all this time kind of learning the basics of. Yeah. But it was like, okay, now how do I make music in a particular style instead of just sitting down and making whatever shit? Yeah. And so that was DJing helped kind of solidify that, and then I started making kind of random techno loops and like house loops.
And this is still using Machine at this point?
No, or Ableton now.
You'd switched over to Ableton.
Like Machine was like, I think that was part of the challenge. Like at the time it felt like it was tricky to like arrange in Machine. I know you can do it, but it was like, it just didn't work.
Were you on the Machine 3?
I was on the Machine 2, I think.
Okay,
Machine Studio. It was like the bigger one that had the like big jog wheel on it.
Okay, but it had to be connected to your computer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Standalone, I think,
would be like an MPC, pretty much,
basically,
right?
Yeah. So it was like you'd have the same thing in Ableton, like Session View, where you could do all these clips, but it was like I understood so little about production that I was just like, I don't even know why I would do this, or like, what do I do from here? And then I started.
That's also counted 3 Ableton for myself. Artists that I've had on this show so far.
It's just can do fucking everything.
It really can.
Which that was like Machine like was great to get started, but then when I was like, I want to do more than this, I felt a little limited in it, and I was like, maybe I should just do Ableton. I feel like I can do anything with that, and that's been my experience. So yeah, it's sick. I love
Ableton's the way, man.
Yeah.
I believe it through and through. I had F1 Shifty on here, an artist from Denver, a couple episodes ago, and he was telling, I'm like, dude, your mixes sound really great, sound very wide, and like you have great high end. He's like, yeah. I'm like, what plugins are you using? And he's just like, I just use all stock Ableton stuff. He's like,
don't use hardly any plugins.
I'm like, damn, bro, really?
Yeah.
I've become a plugin fiend, but
yeah.
So you started making music on Ableton.
Yeah.
With techno, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
You started transitioning straight into techno.
Well, I mean, I was still doing the hip hop stuff and like kind of like edits and things, and like that was part of honestly what pushed me to Ableton. Was it was like the warping and stuff that you can do. Was
time
like
stretching.
I was able to do stuff in Ableton I couldn't really figure out how to do in machine.
It's a pain in the ass on hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you're sampling too.
Exactly.
Like it takes a lot of time. The SP404 is really actually makes that process a lot easier.
That's what it seems like. I
Yeah.
think like had I known about hardware, then I probably would have just gone that route. But yeah, it's been great. And so it was like kind of doing some of the same stuff and then doing edits and like some disco and house stuff. And then the last year has been mostly all techno.
Okay.
It's been really interesting how I like will start out trying to make a certain style of a song and it ends up in a totally different place.
Yeah.
And so I just kept stacking all that stuff. And then at the end of the year, when you like put it all together, it's like, okay, I can start to see certain styles and themes emerging. It's
Hell
been
yeah.
a really fun process.
So are you fully in the box?
For the most part, like I got a Octatrack last year, and that was like the first hardware device that I had fucked around with. Like,
how was the learning curve on that?
Dude, I literally spent like over a week just like doing nothing but like watching YouTube videos and reading the manual. And like my wife was like, "Are you like okay? Like you gonna do anything else?" I'd like wake up reading the manual and like go to bed watching YouTube videos.
Because
like,
you can do so much on that machine.
It's
but
insane.
It's like learning Ableton again.
Basically,
like, Ableton took me.
Yeah.
The first 3 months, I was like, "Where's the record button again? Like, where is this? Like all the basic features."
Yeah,
and then
for
after
sure.
that, it takes like a
For
year
sure.
to notice other features that are in the DAW.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, I think like I had done enough sampling with the machine and Ableton that I kind of knew that was the primary workflow I wanted to do. I think that's one of the things I've carried over from hip hop production is like sampling is like a core part of everything I do. I don't do that much synthesis. Like I want to learn it at some point. But so the Octatrack made sense because it's basically just a badass sampler and mixer all in one. So I use that and the Digitact, and I'm trying to learn how to use the TD3.
Dude, the TD3.
I love the sounds out of it, but
have
the
I talked to you about that
sucks.
yet? Did I message you about that? Because I remember when
think
you
we
started
talked
posting
about
the
it.
Octatrack.
Yeah.
The TD3 was such a pain in the ass for me to sequence.
Yeah, same.
I mean, it models the original like TB303, so
Yeah.
I understand that. But at that time when I had it, I didn't have hardware. I was sequencing it through through the Synth Tribe software that is Behringer's software online.
Yeah.
Which like is super not fun. It's just a
Yeah,
piano
that
roll.
sounds
It's
awful.
just like a MIDI piano roll, and you put
Yeah.
that in. It's like
That app is
super not
janky.
creative. It's not, like there's nothing fun
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
You can like save and like export and like import like different like patches or patterns.
Yeah.
But it was not conducive to anything for me. But now I have the Machine Plus, and I had already sold it, and I know I could probably sequence it a lot better.
Yeah, totally.
I just don't know how. The issue for me was accents and slides, sequencing it externally.
The Octatrack can do all that.
Fuck, really?
Yeah. I actually like don't know how it does it. I don't remember what settings I did to make it do it, but it'll do it.
Do you download templates onto your Octatrack?
That's something I've started making some.
Okay.
Because I think that's one of the things that's also a whole nother layer of that is like the file structure and system behind it is kind of a whole nother thing you have to learn.
Yeah.
So like that's something I'm working on now is like try to make a couple templates for myself that I can use, which I do in Ableton too, but where like the TD3 and everything, all the MIDI settings and all that
already set up, so you're plug and
I
play.
can just like go.
That's
because all that shit was what like slowed me down a lot.
That's honestly for me like something I've done a lot this year. I think I have like 4 or 5 different Ableton template versions this year. I'm just like
it
updating
helps so
things.
much.
And it's honestly become an issue of space for me, like physical space. So like when I'm setting everything up to be tracked into Ableton, I'm like, cool. So I have my Machine Plus right here. I have my Erica Sense DB01. I have my the Behringer 909, and then I have an SH01 now, the boutique Roland. And I was like, great, everything's gonna sit here right on my desk. And then I don't touch it for like a week and a half, but I need to have space for my laptop because I'm finishing other mixes of songs that are all in the box. I just didn't have physical space for it, and like I do everything at my desk pretty much. You know,
same.
Eat, sleep. No, I don't sleep there, but like I eat, and like I hang out. I'm like at my desk all the time. It's just like, you know, how my room is set up. So I had to like keep pulling things out, and then you have to. That's one of the pain in the asses with hardware that I love about it. Is because like half the fun for me sometimes is setting everything up and
Dude,
like remembering how it works.
No way, I hate that part. It's the worst.
Dude, you'll just like blow like 25, 30 minutes setting everything back
awful.
up, and you're like, wait, how do I get this one to talk to this one? And did I do MIDI
Especially
through on
if
this
you're
device?
too stoned, like I feel like that. Like I was telling you earlier, I wasted like 2 hours. I was up till 2 a.m. one night just fucking around with trying to get this shit to work.
Yeah.
I got a new mixer because I'm trying to do similar to what you are.
Did you get the new Zone?
I have the 96 to DJ with, but I got the Tascam 12.
Oh, you bitch!
So
Did you really?
It was It's great. I've been looking at it forever. So far, it's great.
Dude,
I wanted the.
it's like 600, right?
Yeah, I got mine for like 500.
That's not bad.
Like
That's
they're
not
hard to
bad.
find deals on used, which
Yeah.
is I was kind of surprised by.
Because they're so great. That's why.
I
Those
think
things
so.
are gonna be like the Mackeys that were like people want crave to have like now.
Yeah.
They just do everything that you need them
Yeah,
to do.
it's like I think the sound is good. The knobs and stuff are like the zone is amazing. Like everything feels so high quality on it. And the Tascam's like the knobs are kind of plastic and like they don't feel like the build quality is like incredible, but it's like good enough and it does so much shit that I'm like.
Did they change the build quality on the new zones?
You talking about the 96?
Yeah.
No, it's like I'm just saying this is like when I went from like a Pioneer controller mixer to this, it was like this felt like a sports car or something.
Oh,
It was
okay,
just
okay.
like that's kind of how the Tascam is.
I thought you were
It's like-
saying okay.
it just has kind of a plasticky feel to it.
Really?
Kinda.
Aren't the sides like
The
wooden?
faders are great. The knobs are a little.
What's
whatever.
the resistance on the faders like? If we're gonna get nerdy
It's-
about it, that's part of the show.
I mean,
too,
it's
so.
kind of similar to the 96. Like, it's maybe not quite as smooth, but it feels similar. It's not like the 92 where it's just like flings all over the place.
I'm curious about that because I want to like I'm interested in like also buying that. And
The
expanding, 'cause,
Tascam?
like I want to do my goal in 2025 on top of like putting out music is to just generally create hardware sets, and I want to
Yeah.
play live music.
Yeah.
And getting something like the Tascam
That's
would
basically
be
what I wanna do.
great for tracking.
Yeah,
Just, like,
exactly.
having a whole set, tracking that
Yeah.
set. Everything and live performance too. So like,
Totally.
I'm super interested in getting something
Yeah.
like that.
So far, I love it. I mean, I'm still like just learning how to get it all plugged in and set
What's
up.
part
but
of your like? Are you so you have all this hardware, but you
Yeah.
produce mostly in the box? So what is
it's
your
kind of a
hardware
hybrid.
for?
I mean, I'm trying to transition. Well, primarily what I'm using hardware for is to like sketch ideas and just jam on. Like they're like kind of different workflows for me. Like a lot of what I do, like probably the majority of my workflow is like it'll be like 11 o'clock at night and I got an idea for something and I just want to sample something and throw a beat on it and see how it sounds.
Yeah.
And so like most of the time I'll do that on my laptop, but I just find that like the experimentation that like the Octatrack or the Digitact introduces into sampling, like I just create stuff I wouldn't otherwise.
Okay.
And so like it feels like I mostly use it as a sketch pad and just to like jam on. And then I'm not good enough with any of those to be able to just like build a whole song like that. But I'll get like a couple loops that I really like, and so then I track that back into Ableton and like create all these stems that I can like turn into a song then.
Oh, that's dope.
So that's most of what I'm using the Tascam for.
Okay.
And then part of what I like about that one over some of the, like I almost went full analog, but it's like I wanted to be able to have some of that integrated into the DAW a little bit more. And I haven't played with this much, but the Tascams will do all of that.
Because tracking, like the whole process of tracking can be a real pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Even MIDI sync
Yeah,
is
for
a whole
sure.
pain in the ass, like going all DAW-less or
Yeah.
having like a hybrid setup. Like MIDI sync's a really big thing. I had a friend who was like so hung up on it and was like, oh, I gotta adjust the milliseconds and all this stuff. He had like a MIDI box like that sent out its own clock.
Yeah.
I think that was cool, but it was just like right there pulls me out of the music. It
Yeah,
pulls me out of
same
the
for me.
creativity.
Yeah.
It takes me out of the swing of being an artist
Yeah.
and more of an engineer, which I
Yeah.
do have a passion for.
Yeah.
I love live sound. I do live sound.
Yeah.
Engineering, like I'm mastering my girlfriend and her band's music. Like I love doing that stuff. But the small parts when it comes to my creativity, I don't want any part of that.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
think it just taints the whole
Well, they're like
process.
different parts of your brain, I feel like.
For sure. I feel almost opposites. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious about the Tascam. There's dedicated mutes, right?
Yeah. And it has a built-in compressor and EQ and
How's the
like
compressor on
aux
it?
sends and stuff. I haven't done a ton with it, but it so far seems great. I mean, I think like part of one of the limitations I was running into with the Octatrack is like you only have 2 effects you can apply at one time.
That's one reason I was looking into that.
It's a little annoying.
Yeah.
The Digitact is like honestly.
The Digitac 2 looks crazy.
That's what I have.
My roommate about it.
It's
bunch.
fucking sick.
You have
like
you have the 2?
The 2 is like way better than the one. I mean, I honestly like can almost replace the Octatrack with it, but I really like the crossfader.
That's the
and
whole
it doesn't
performing
do
thing.
slicing as well. Like slicing on the Digitac 2 is not nearly as robust as the Octatrack.
It is. What's the time stretching like on it?
Great. It's
Yeah.
all the same stuff. It's literally just those 2 things.
Because I remember there was like 4 big features on the Octatrack that the Digitac didn't have.
Yeah.
And when the Digitac 2 came out, a lot of those features were already built in the
Yeah,
Digitac
exactly.
2. And I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to get this one.
Yeah.
why spend the extra $400 or $500?
It'll do most of it. If you're willing to like change your workflow a little to like make it work, like I think you can do the majority of. Like I'm debating just getting rid of the Octatrack, but I like that workflow a lot, and it also I think I'm starting to appreciate it more as like a mixer as well, not just a sampler.
Okay.
So when you've got like other hardware plugged into it, it's kind of an amazing like
do a lot more
DJ mixer basically.
Dope.
So the Digitac's gonna have more effects, and it's more robust for getting crazier. But the Octatrack as the hub that it all is running through and doing MIDI sync and everything is awesome.
Is it USB 3?
The Octatrack?
Digitac 2?
It uses the same standard old USB.
Oh, USB MIDI
or whatever it is. The one that like printers use. Like, I can never remember what it is.
No. I'm super interested this upcoming year to doing that. Tell me about the music that you're making right now then. You said you've been working on music this past year.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for you to release music because you sent me some stuff, so I'm excited to hear it, man.
So the first thing is going to be in February. There's so From Below's first release is going to be a compilation that you have a track on. I have a track on. A bunch of other Zero Idea, Slim Shug, some dudes from Italy, Heavy Ritual Division.
Sweet.
It's on the like a bunch of Bay Area people. Some friends from LA. DJ Saki has a track on there. And so that'll be my first like techno release. And then I'm gonna try to I have a bunch of stuff that I just need to create assets for and release. So the music's basically done. So like I have probably like 2 EPs for next year.
Okay.
And I don't know, I'm still trying to like find exactly what my sound is.
Are you gonna put that out on From Below?
I think so.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what stuff I put out myself and what stuff I try to put on another label or something like.
Yeah, that's something, I have so much respect for like solo releases.
Yeah.
I think getting on a label is great for an artist, especially new artists, quote unquote new artists,
Yeah.
And there is a balance with that stuff because I mean you get so many more eyes when you're on a label. But
Yeah,
I feel like self releases are such great statements for artists to have.
Yeah.
Because you kind of it's just you. It's just your sound, exactly what you want.
Exactly.
You don't have to shop it around to people to have all these eyes on it. And
exactly.
I think it's great that you're starting that label too, man. I'm
Thanks,
really excited for this compilation that's coming out early next year, right?
Yeah, February 7th. We're doing a release party at Underground SF.
Let's go.
So it's gonna be fun. Bunch of people
for that.
From the compilation are gonna be DJing. I'm excited to play there. I like that venue a lot. And
have you played there before?
No, I've wanted to, but no.
Cool. It's super fun. They just upgraded their setup too, so they have 3000s there.
Nice.
And the mixer's okay, but it used to be a little jankier. I love that place. I love the bartenders. I think Evan's one of the bartenders that's there, and the door guy, I forget his name right now, but they're always super nice in there. I always have great conversations with them.
Yeah.
Like that's, getting back to club culture too, a great spot in the city where
I agree.
New parties can happen at, new promoters can go to.
Totally.
I wish the route of communication with owners or bookers at clubs was a little bit easier.
Me too.
But I think it's a great venue. I think F8's a cool venue too. There's a couple new places that just opened up in the city that I'm like generally curious about as well. Soundtrack on 16th and Guerrero.
Okay.
16th and Guerrero, like right on the corner. It's where Double Dutch used to be.
Okay.
So same kind of layout.
Yeah.
And then there's a new one opening up in North Beach, and I forget the name of it right now.
That's cool.
And I sent it to my friend, and I was like, okay, cool. There's like 2 new places opening up. It's kind of like that lounge to club sort of thing. So they'll have like a cocktail program.
Yeah.
But I think they're trying to generally go straight to sound. So
that's cool.
It's great to have like more venues in the city.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Underground SF's cool to me because I love all the red light. Like I feel like most clubs are like too fucking bright, and like I want less light.
It'll pull me out of an environment.
Same.
When I'm on a dance floor, I want nothing but like low lighting.
Yeah.
And fog.
Yeah, same.
Fog is like so key for like dance floors. Like,
I don't want to look at anyone's face. No. I don't want anyone looking at me.
I don't want to see the exit.
Yeah, same.
Like flat out, I don't want to see the exit. I want to be like totally like just listening.
Same.
To the DJ playing.
Same. So I love the vibe there. I think also what I was saying earlier about size too. Like I think that's a great venue for like when you're first getting started or smaller parties or whatever. I mean, just because you're not having to try to sell 300 tickets or something. Like it can accommodate a like smaller crowd and it feel really like still exciting and fun.
That's what I'm saying, because there's people that want to go to stuff like that. There might not be like, you're not selling 300 tickets to a show, but if you can sell like 90 tickets 85
Yeah.
tickets at a venue like Underground. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, this is fun. And then you have door walk-ups,
Totally.
you know, people's
And like
friends.
even bigger artists that I've seen there, like it's even more fun because it's just like jam packed. Like
Yeah,
I
that dance
love
floor
when
is
that
fun.
place gets full.
I like how it's like that shotgun feel
Yeah,
in like a
totally.
bar where it's just like one long hallway and
Yeah.
you get to the back, you're on the dance floor,
Yeah,
and like
for sure.
it's gonna be a while till you get out of that dance
Yeah,
floor. You know?
exactly.
Right on, man. What's the kind of genre of music that you're making this upcoming year? Like, what's the focus on these projects? Clearly, it's techno,
Yeah.
but like in what style and what vein, what influence?
I mean, like the Detroit stuff is really inspiring to me, especially like the late 90s and early 2000s. Like I just think that like one of the things I've been trying to do as a DJ, which I'm finding like kind of hard, but it's been fun. Like the set that I prepared for tonight, like I think shows some of this, is just to like introduce more of like the groove and the jazz and the soul behind it. Like I don't love just hard techno. Like it doesn't do much for me, and like I need to like groove a little bit more and to kind of go through a range of like pace to like speed it up and slow it down.
Yeah. When you say that, do you like, are you talking about something that's slightly more melodic? I'm not necessarily saying like melodic
No,
techno,
not melodic,
like,
really.
Okay.
Like I would say like a lot of it's more like raw and hypnotic, and like it's like really repetitive most of the time, but it's like there's just really subtle changes happening.
Okay.
And sometimes there'd be like a soul or gospel sample, and like Floor Plan I fucking love.
Yeah,
like,
fuck yeah,
and
dude.
Robert Hood
Yeah.
and like all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm
gospel techno, man.
dude. I mean, I grew up in the church and playing music in the church, and so
Yeah.
it's like a lot of that stuff still hits for me. I don't consider myself a Christian anymore, but
Right.
it's like it's in me, and like when I hear that music, it's like it just pulls like something out
It's
of me.
uplifting while still
Dude, yeah.
having like, it's almost it's like a juxtaposition to like what techno is generally
Yeah,
considered, or
yeah.
what is generally felt from techno, and then have like these gospel or soul or funk
Yeah.
influences from it. It's like really nice
It's like
and refreshing.
spiritual.
Yeah.
It like makes it feel almost like transcendent. It's
Yeah,
really cool.
you can feel that on the dance floor listening
Exactly.
to people's tracks,
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
especially you have a great DJ that's spinning
Yeah.
them too, you know, like.
And that's most of what the sets I've been to that I love, the music that I love. It's like it's all kind of doing that for me. It's making me feel something and like reaching for like something higher. So it's like that's the kind of music I want to make. I don't know that I'm like there yet, but it's been fun to try.
The journey is like the best part.
Yeah.
You know, when I talk to people about music, I've been releasing music for like 2 years now, and they're like, "Oh, you got a lot of releases on Bandcamp," and I'm like, "Yeah, but a lot of it's not necessarily what I want to make now."
Yeah, totally.
Like, however, that is documented journey of like what I've gone through with music production, mixing and mastering too. So I like having that stuff up there still. Yeah. And there's also aliases. There's also other names that you can release things under.
Dude, I always think about this stuff. Like, it's so hard for me to pick another name.
What are you going to release under?
I think just my name.
Yeah.
I don't know.
SVM or like?
Yeah, just Skyler Vandermolen.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. It's like hard to know because like I have this whole other career with film and art and design, and like I'm like, do I just do it all under one name? Like, there's a part of me that likes the kind of anonymity or separation of having like an artist name.
I agree.
And then there's a part of me that likes just being like, this is just who I am. This is what I do. Like, so I don't know. It's hard to say.
There's good intersections with those.
For
like,
sure.
I think there really is, like, where you can still be like, this is my stuff, and you know, like you don't necessarily have to, or you can, like, attain a persona. Yeah. I was talking to or Kosh on the last show. I was just gonna say that. And they were going over their last two projects, USA Groove Music, and maybe the one before that, which was Meet Me in Miami. Yeah. And they were talking about the personification of an album, and they have a lot of influence from like they're from Atlanta, so like trap music was really big for them. Totally. And, you know, so they like inserting these themes into who they are as an artist into a project. I see that a lot in my brother who does music. Every few years he's into new stuff, so he's like a different kind of artist, but it's still his name. Totally. So I think there's a lot of cool storytelling. That conversation you guys had was inspiring because it's like it's been on my mind a lot as this like release is about to come out. I'm like, do I switch it to like a new name or whatever? Like, and I think he mentioned David Bowie, and like I think that was a good reference. Like, it's just fun to like play a character and like take on a different persona, and like I think he's done a good job with that. It seems like he's having a lot of fun every time he like puts out a new release with like some different vibe to it. Like, yeah, it's cool. It's like I was telling him it's not always about taking yourself too seriously. Yeah, totally. There is an element of that where you do respect yourself as an artist, as a DJ, as somebody who makes music. Yeah. But there's like having your own fun with it and making it yours.
Yeah, exactly.
And not necessarily needing to be a person that this genre of music expects you to be.
Exactly.
Like breaking that concept.
Yeah.
For myself and other artists means a lot.
Yeah, totally.
Being able to function and be an artist in any sort of space.
Yeah.
And still be yourself, not necessarily like, I need to be on this label. They need to think I look this way. It's like, no, you just sound this way. It's about the music, you know? But you can have fun with the rest of it if you want to. You know?
Techno, that's like one of my only complaints, honestly, is like it feels like some people take it a little too seriously.
Yeah.
Like think that you have to be all hard and tough and like serious about everything all the time. And like if you want to do that, that's fine. That's not me. I don't take things that seriously.
And like sometimes I get it confused with people. Like I'll fucking walk up to you, shake your hand, and like dap you up and say, "What's good? It's nice to meet you. I'm a fan of your music." Yeah. Like I don't feel shameful in that. Like I'm a fan first. That's how I got into all this stuff. Yeah. You know, some people come off like they're some type of way. Yeah. And some people are just super socially awkward.
I think that's most of it. I'm like realizing mostly people just feel awkward and insecure, and like you just gotta go say hi, and like that'll diffuse like majority
of mystique of them as like an artist. You know what I'm saying?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I'm like, I know you're just another fool that loves like techno like I do.
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
I think it's like important for other people understands like I don't necessarily want anything from you when I shake your hand. Yeah. I just want to meet you, dude. Like that's it. Like I just want to say what's up and give you respect for like what you do. Yeah. That's a big part of like, you know, the community out here.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, you don't need anything from anybody unless like, you know, you build a friendship with them and you know, things can go from there. Yeah. However, dude, I want to get into your mix right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Dude, thanks for being on the show. This is INXS episode 4 with Skyler, Vander, Molen. The homie's going to hop into his set. I'll pop in like a little bit, and we can do a little back-to-back, but I'm going to have you rock out for a minute.
Cool. Sounds good, man.
Right on, dog. Of course. Everybody, we will check you guys next month. What is that? Oh, my God. This is the last show of the year. In January, you guys can catch me here, second Saturday, with Zero Idea from Cap Street Project. Him and I just put a track together out on their recent release, Volume 5 of the free download series. Yeah, I have a show next week at Madrone Art Bar, 1219. Come hang out. It's We Work Here. It's our last one of the year as well. We're going to bang it out with me and my crew there. But, yeah, in the meantime, enjoy the homie, and we'll check in a little bit.
where there is no race. Just people holding hands. A break from reality. Put your mind at ease. Just listen to the radio and follow me. Follow me. Follow me. Follow me. Follow me. Follow me.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This was INXS episode 4 with Skyler, Vander, Molen. Thanks for coming out and hanging, man. Thanks for playing. Thanks for the interview. I'm glad we got to sit down and finally chop it up. That hasn't just been online, like on Instagram and stuff. So good to spend some time with you in the studio. Yeah, man, everyone look forward to the From Below compilation release coming out February 7th. They're doing a compilation release party at Underground SF the same night. I'll be playing. This fool will be ripping a set. I better be ripping a set. Yeah, catch me next year, 2025. Second Saturday's here with Zero Idea. Until then.